Hello, and welcome to Softer. This is Mara Morales. Welcome back to Softness in Action. This week, we're exploring kindness in action. Yesterday, we practiced something beautifully simple: noticing people, looking up, making eye contact, learning a name, allowing someone who might normally blend into the background of our day to feel seen. Today, I'd like to take that practice one step further because there's something deeply meaningful about not only noticing someone, but remembering them. Think about how it feels when someone remembers something you've told them. Maybe they ask, "How did your appointment go?" Or, "How was your daughter's first day of school?" Or, "Did you ever finish that project you were excited about?" It's such a small thing, but underneath the question is a much bigger message. I listened. I remembered. What matters to you matters to me. In a world where we're constantly absorbing information, remembering the details of another person's life has become a beautiful form of attention. And attention is one of the purest forms of kindness. You don't need to remember everything. You don't need to keep mental notes about every conversation. Just listen for what matters. Maybe your coworker mentions that her mother is visiting this weekend. A friend tells you they're nervous about an interview. Your neighbor mentions that their dog hasn't been feeling well. Someone you see regularly tells you their child is graduating. Remember, and the next time you see them, ask, "How did it go?" Those 4 words can make someone feel incredibly cared for. Because kindness isn't always about doing something for another person. Sometimes it's remembering what they're carrying. Today's small act of kindness is this. Think about one thing someone has shared with you recently. Something they were excited about, something they were worried about, something they were hoping for. Reach out today and ask them about it. It could be a text, a phone call, or simply a question the next time you see them. Let them know you remembered. Kindness fuels kindness, which fuels kindness. And every time we remember what matters to someone else, we remind them that they matter too. Now, let's slow down together. Find a comfortable position, sitting or lying down. If it feels safe, gently close your eyes. Take a slow breath in and gently breathe out. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Allow your shoulders to soften. Relax your jaw. Let your hands rest comfortably. Bring your awareness to your heart. Now think of someone you care about. Picture their face. Remember the last conversation you had with them. Was there something they mentioned? Something they were looking forward to? Something they were struggling with? Something they were hoping would work out? Don't force yourself to remember. Simply allow something to come to mind. Now imagine reaching out to them. Imagine saying, "I was thinking about you," or "I remembered what you told me." Notice how those words might make them feel: seen, remembered, important. Now silently repeat, "May I listen closely. May I remember what matters to the people around me. May my attention become an expression of kindness." Take one more slow breath in and gently breathe out. Rest here for another moment. Then slowly begin bringing your awareness back to your body. Notice the surface supporting you. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and when you're ready, open your eyes. As part of this week's Softness in Action Challenge, spend a few moments with your journal. Reflect on these questions. Who in my life makes me feel? What does that feeling mean to me? Whose story could I pay closer attention to today? Sometimes love doesn't announce itself. Sometimes it simply says, I remembered. Before we finish today, I'd love to share another softer story. This one comes from Susan in Omaha, Nebraska. She writes, Dear Mara, several years ago, I started stopping at the same little coffee shop on my way to work. There was a woman named Anna who worked behind the counter most mornings. We didn't know each other well, but over time, we'd started having little conversations while she made my coffee. One morning, I mentioned that my dad was having surgery later that week. It was probably a 30-second conversation. Honestly, I forgot I'd even told her. About a week later, I walked into the coffee shop. Anna looked up and said, Susan, how is your dad doing? I remember just standing there for a second. My dad was recovering well, but it had been an exhausting week, and her question caught me completely off guard. She remembered. Someone who probably spoke with hundreds of people every week had remembered something happening in my life. I walked out of that coffee shop feeling strangely emotional. It taught me that remembering the little things people tell us is one of the simplest ways we can say, You matter to me. Now I try to do the same. When someone tells me something important, I try to remember to ask about it later. And every time I do, I think of Anna. With gratitude, Susan from Omaha, Nebraska. Thank you, Susan, for sharing your beautiful story. What I love about Anna's kindness is how ordinary it was. She didn't solve a problem. She didn't buy a gift. She didn't make a grand gesture. She simply remembered. And sometimes that's enough to make another person feel deeply cared for. So today, listen a little more closely. Remember a little more intentionally. And if someone you care about has shared something with you recently, ask them about it. Your question may take only a few seconds, but the feeling of being remembered can last much longer. Now, we'd love to hear your story. Has someone ever shown you kindness you'll never forget? Has a simple act of compassion changed the way you see the world? Or has softer inspired you to become a little gentler with yourself or someone else? Share your softer story by emailing us at thesofterpodcast@gmail.com. Your story may be featured in a future episode and could become the encouragement someone else needs to hear. And if these daily moments of reflection are meaningful to you, please take a moment to like, follow, and subscribe to Softer. It helps us reach more hearts and continue to build a kinder, more connected world together. Thank you for listening to Softer. Our music is by Rebecca De La Torre and Thomas Searing. Softer is produced by Michelle Severson. This has been Mara Morales. Carry the softness with you today.